Okay, so Brewster McCloud. Robert Altman film, came out in 1970, right after MASH. And of course, he was the it boy after the release of MASH, and rightly so. It's one of those seminal films that really ushered in the whole notion of sort of intersecting, overlapping dialogue and moments of true sort of verisimilitude when it came to human drama captured on film. This movie is really hard to describe. The plot, such as it is, stems around the titular character, Brewster McCloud, who's this young man, maybe 19, 20, who apparently squats in a bomb shelter at the Houston Astros Stadium and is completely fixated on birds, in particular, learning how birds fly, and then apparently building some sort of flying contraption in order to fly away. Now, throughout all of this is the interesting cast of characters that are orbiting him, and a serial killer on the loose who is apparently killing his victims after a bird poops on them. Yes, it really is that bizarre. And yet, inexplicably, it does work. In many ways, it feels like a cousin to Harold and Maude. Bud Cort is playing a somewhat similar character, although not morosely depressed, but just a quirky oddball. And the women that he comes into contact are all pretty unusual. You have Sally Kellerman, who of course played Hot Lips Houlihan in MASH, the film. She is lovely, as always, and apparently seems like she's playing a bird type of woman. She, at one point, takes her blouse off, and you see what look to be scars on her back where she might have had wings clipped, and she seems to be sort of playing almost like his mother. And it gets a little weird from there. But then Shelley Duvall shows up. There's another young woman who has taken a shine to him and apparently works in the stadium and smuggles food into him so that he can eat. But it's just such a bizarre film. It really is. It's very almost scatological. And I suppose I use that term with its double meaning, because again, there's tons of bird poop throughout the film. And I would just say again, if you, I think, are interested in seeing sort of a time capsule of very early 1970s Americana, it really does capture it. And I think if there is one through line that apparently Altman is kind of poking fun at, it's the police, because the detective who is brought in to solve this serial killer case is someone who apparently is a big shot from San Francisco and has come down to Houston to help the local police department solve this murder mystery. Again, it's just so bizarre, and some of the humor is definitely hit and miss, but I also think it's pretty just, it's so peculiar, and there's a whimsical nature to the film that I think helps it breeze along, and it's definitely not taking itself too seriously. And in fact, the introduction of the film is by this lecturer who is talking about various bird species and the relationship they have to man, is just right out of an acid trip. It's very, very unusual. And while like I said, I don't know that all of the humor lands, in fact, I do know that a lot of the humor doesn't land, it's still filled with, Altman craftsmanship. And Bud Cort, I think, does a great job, just as do the other supporting characters, including Stacy Keach is in this film, although I have to be honest, I had a hard time figuring out who he was. He may have been the old man at the beginning. I'm just not sure. But on that note, we'll leave it at that. This Warner Brothers Archive Collection Blu-ray looks great. It's got very, very good dialogue. The audio channel is solid. You can make out all the dialogue, and there really isn't too much to complain about. I just think the movie may not be for everyone, but having said all that, I think if you're into Altman, which I am, I feel like he's made four of the best films in all of American cinema in McCabe and Mrs. Miller, Nashville, The Player, and Shortcuts. I definitely think this represents his craftsmanship in a very almost throwaway aside, but just such a peculiar journey that is absolutely worth taking. So take care out there, everyone. Stay safe, be kind, and by all means, keep watching good cinema.